Jordan Ellis here for Low Kick MMA. Today I'm joined by Raymond Daniels, who fought to a no contest against Peter Stanonik at Bellator 245 this past Friday. How's it going, Raymond?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm safe. You know what I mean? So can't complain. Just got back home yesterday. So, just good to be back in Southern California.
Good. And how have you been since the fight? Obviously, you went in there, with intentions of getting a big statement win, and it's quite anticlimactic. So how do you just feel about the overall not getting the result you wanted?
Yeah, I mean, as life is sometimes, Jordan, like sometimes, life throws you curves and you kind of got to work around them. That's definitely obviously not the type of fight I wanted to go in there and produce. For me, I'm always looking to go in there and produce some type of highlight or something like that in that fashion. So I do a lot more high risk techniques that have high reward, but I also have sometimes, as you saw this weekend, high consequences for your actions, so to speak, as well. It's an unfortunate. I'm glad that my opponent is okay. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely was. I was honestly disappointed with the overall as far as result of it all, because I felt like I was just kind of like honestly getting warmed up after the first round, and I felt like I was okay starting to come into my own as far as feeling a lot more comfortable. I was looking to try some different things because again, I am a great kickboxer, but MMA is a whole different animal. I've worked with amazing coaches, my jiu-jitsu coach, Joe Murphy and Mark Munoz. So, it's been part of my goal to become a full all-around mixed martial artist.
And you did say you got the highlights. It's not the highlight you wanted, but it's definitely a highlight. In terms of the actual fight, the first round, how did you feel in there? Did you feel like you were winning the fight, bossing the fight, and on your way to a victory anyway?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as where the fight ended, I felt like he didn't have any more juice or any more energy as far as cardio wise. I was fully recovered after the first round, and I felt really good. And I know people can say kind of what they want, but when you're a fighter and you're in there with the other fighter, you understand if that fighter it's kind of like blown their load already, so to speak. They're already kind of like a little gassed. And I felt like he was pretty gassed after that first round. But I don't think he landed a couple clean shots. He hit me once, I believe, on the ground after I slipped and he mounted me. And then I think he hit me with two good shots standing up, a few leg kicks. But all in all, I think I was, dominating the fight as far as I was hitting him with cleaner, more precise strikes. I mean, he maybe hit me with a handful of strikes total throughout the entire first round. I mean, he was, he does pack a good punch when he's swinging. He's coming with his heart and his soul behind his techniques, so to speak. But that's why I was looking forward to fighting him, because I know he's a guy that bites down on his mouth guard and he wants to come in and he's ready to party. You know what I mean? So those are my favorite type of guys to fight because they come with a lot of heart and stuff like that. So, yeah, but all in all, I felt like, I was in control of the fight, winning the round. He wasn't able to land any shots. I mean, maybe he threw a couple leg kicks, but that's only because he's not able to land any of his other shots. And the only thing he probably could reach me with was a leg kick.
And then through your mind, obviously he's tired and he's blown his wad, as you were saying, and then you hit him with that first low blow. So are you thinking in that moment, oh, he might use this as a kind of a way out? This might be the end here.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't, like to say what a person's pain level is or what I think it's hard to compare people's, pain because, I did hit them in the groin twice. They said, I thought the first one was honestly like in the bladder. I have not seen the fight myself, but in my mind and my targeting, I thought it hit the bladder, which is like kind of like right on the belt line, which is not legal, but it's not illegal either. Like it's like that kind of like that neutral zone area. That's where I thought I hit him for the first time. I like I said, I would love to go back and actually see where the actual foot landed. The second time, I definitely kicked him in the groin. Like he knocked me off balance, and as he kicked me, and he didn't land his foot fast enough. His foot was actually still in the air. So the second time, I definitely kicked him in the groin. But I don't like to tell a person their pain or what kind of pain that there is. I think that's even a problem with what's going on in the world today. People try and compare someone else's pain, to what they feel like they should, endure with a pain. So, obviously he did, get in the groin. He hit me in the groin twice as well in the same exact fight, so people are like, oh, you kicked him in the groin, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but you guys do realize I got kicked in the groin twice as well. Just my shots are were a little more devastating, so to speak, you know what I mean? Because of the power and the impact that my shots come with. Obviously I took my groin shots in stride. We kind of slapped hands and kind of kept the fight going. when I hit him, he obviously went down both times with those groin shots. But yeah, I didn't know if, I thought, like I said, I hit him in the bladder. I thought maybe, I know it can feel like you got hit in the groin when that happens, but maybe I did hit him in the groin. Like I said, I haven't seen it. And then, like I said, I can't say what a person's pain level or pain tolerance is for that matter, but I was hoping that he got back up, but also I did realize that he was a little bit tired because he wasn't responding as fast when we came out into the second round. So therefore, I think, it does play a big factor.
And in terms of that second one, there was no doubt it did land clean, and men all over the world were, screaming at that one. And then yours kind of standing to the sidelines as he's rolling around the floor, basically crying at that point. What's that scene like? Obviously, you must feel bad, but in the same sense, you must be hoping he just gets back to his feet and you can fight on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean to, like, even when I finish an opponent, I'm never trying to say hurt a person where they're in like agonizing pain, which it seemed like he's in. I've kicked people in the groin many times. I've never had anybody respond in that way. To the groin. I've been hitting the groin many times in fights. It's just kind of something that goes with the turf when you're punching, kicking, swinging at each other. You do hit each other in the groin. It's an unfortunate. And as a fighter, it's like that's the rule. It's like, don't do that one. So I hadn't seen any professional athlete ever respond the way he did. So like I said, I don't know what his pain level or pain tolerance level is. So he seemed like he was in, obviously a lot of pain, but that was the first time I've seen someone's response that type of way. Not to say that he was or was not in, any pain or anything like that, but I was hoping he'd get back up so I would be able to go into, just go into my fight and find my groove. And it's an unfortunate thing that, and everybody's kind of like, oh, why'd you do it twice in a row? Like, as far as, because I don't fight in a reactive fight state. I fight in what I call like a flow state. So like whatever openings he presents to me is how my body kind of responds. So it's not a reaction, it's a response. So when I see something, there's a trained action that I've worked on over and over. And if you look at the target area that I was actually going at, it's actually a wide open. So like if you take that and you put it several inches higher, that's a highlight reel KO to the body. So it's like, it's a very unfortunate thing. And like I said, I understand I throw high risk, high reward, but also high consequences when you throw something like that. And I think it's because the technique is such a powerful technique that even when it, like you hit him below the belt, it's that much more devastating because he kicked me in the groin twice with like a round kick and kind of like a back kick, but those aren't devastating fight ending techniques. The techniques that I throw, I try and, fight ending type of techniques. And thus, I think, unfortunately, because it hit below the belt, especially on that second one, that was the result of it. So again, a very, very disappointing for me because I was, like I said, just starting to honestly warm up because it was just different fighting with the whole COVID situation. Like in the back, I honestly felt like the first round I wasn't able to come out and do what I would normally do because there were so many openings that I saw, but I felt kind of rushed for the simple fact that when I was in the back, because of the whole situation, the new dynamic with the COVID where you have to stand, what you have to do, I honestly didn't even get to warm up. So I didn't get to throw a jab, a cross, a side kick, a round kick, a spin kick. Normally I get into my little flow before I actually go out and compete. But because of the different criteria of where you had to be, why you had to be there, what times you had to be there, it kind of threw me off a little bit that I didn't get a chance to do any warm up at all. So I think also that maybe possibly could have played in my targeting being off a little bit because normally, you practice hitting your targets and things like that. So not that that's any excuse. I should be on my targets and being able to hit my targets no matter what. So, but definitely a different experience, and I was not happy with that end result. So. But again, I am glad he is okay.
Yeah, it just sounds like a weird night all around for you, and you just kind of brushed that under the carpet now. So what is next for you? Do you rematch Peter? Do you move on and just kind of treat it as you took the win and move on to bigger and better things? What do you want next?
For me, I'm open to different things. I mean, the whole MMA side, I think he was a great fighter for me to fight because he is a stand-up fighter. He does have, I guess it would be 2 more times the MMA because I had a total of 3 fights. He had a total of 9 MMA fights. So that was kind of like the goal also for me to try and go out and try some different wrestling things. So because again, I'm trying to become an all-around MMA fighter. I'm already a world champion kickboxer. I would like to be the world champion in mixed martial arts. Therefore, I need to be able to put myself in different situations. So for me, you know, I was able to show people some of my groundwork. Like, oh man, he's in the worst position you can possibly be in. He's fully mounted. And I was able to come up very smooth. I had an opportunity to do some of my wrestling. I was like, oh, no, wait, I should back up, go to what I'm more comfortable with a little bit, you know. But I have an amazing wrestling coach in Mark Munoz, and he is got me, I mean, drilling on drilling. So I'm actually getting a lot more comfortable with my wrestling because, you know, a lot of people are going to try to wrestle me and stuff like that when it comes to stand up. But I do want to have the opportunity. It's one thing to work it in practice. It's a whole nother dynamic to work it in an actual live fighting. And that experience level is something that I haven't had a chance to experience in MMA. So therefore, it's something that I want to experience. And thus, you saw me trying to do some takedowns, some different things like that, because I want to experience those things. And if I don't put myself in uncomfortable situations, when I fight great fighters, you know, say like Lima or Larkin or of course, any of those guys, or Fitch or Gracie, you know what I mean? They're going to try and put me in those situations. And if I've never experienced it before, I'm going to be, you know, like a fish out of water and just flopping around. So I think it's important for me to experience those things in live competition, not just in practice. So yes, I'm definitely open to running it back with him if he would like to, if he really feels that he was, you know, winning the fight, because I've seen his post that he feels that he was winning the fight. And if you land 3 shots in 1 round and you think that makes you win in a fight, you know, I don't know what to say. I know I landed a lot more than 3 shots. I landed a whole lot. At least I felt like I did. Again, I haven't seen the fight, but I felt like I was landing pretty consistently. So I'm definitely open to running him back, you know, or just onward and upward as well. He's not my end goal, you know. He was just for me someone on the path to me going towards my goals. So whether, you know, I fight him again or I just move on to the next one is kind of irrelevant to me, because he's definitely not the pinnacle of where I want my MMA career to be at.
And in terms of who you fight next, how much say do you get in it, or how much do Bellator kind of dictate? Because from what you're saying now, it sounds like you want to be tested in terms of wrestling, jiu-jitsu, things like that. But if they want to run it back, how much say do you get in that type of stuff, and you and your management?
You know, obviously Bellator is, you know, the final say with a lot of things. You know, I do get to do a little bit of as far as my input and stuff like that. And then with the whole COVID situation as well, it's hard to find fighters that are available, that are ready, that are able to train. There's a whole lot of different, you know, things that are kind of going on. So, you know, so Bellator kind of obviously gets the final say on who I get to fight, you know, kind of when I get to fight type thing. You know, I do try and put my 2 cents in with different things, and I obviously talk to my coaches and stuff like that. And I want to make sure it's a fight that they want me to fight. So that's the biggest thing is it's amazing is having a team around me that I trust in, with Mark, with Tyler Wombles, being my head coach, and Joe Murphy. They kind of, you know, they guide me in the direction, and I trust in them and I trust the process. So, you know, yeah, I'm hoping that I get the opportunity. I mean, if he wants to run it back, because I don't like ending that for me, I want to get back in as soon as possible, because that left a really bad taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? I know it kind of went kind of viral even on the internet. You know, they say no press is bad press, but that's not the type of press that I like, you know. And a lot of people want me to be upset or sad about it, but I'm a realist when it comes to things. It's an unfortunate event that happened, and it's in the past, and there's nothing in my power that I can do about it to go about and change that, you know. So you know, like I said, it's, you know, it's unfortunate that it happened that way, because like I said, I honestly felt like I was in 100% control of the fight and doing what I wanted when I wanted, you know.
And pre-fight, we heard you speaking, you know, kind of talking up a Douglas Lima fight down the line, and then he was kind of responding. You were kind of open to that and welcoming you as an opponent. So it's nice to see that little bit of a simmering rivalry, but we're quite a friendly one as well. So how quickly do you move towards that? Obviously, you're not the youngest guy ever. So how quickly do you want to move, and how much
Yeah,
quickly can you move?
awesome question. I mean, I'm 40, but my body and everything feels amazing. I'm working with a new strength and conditioning coach over at Training Lab with Sam Calavita, and Jordan, brother, he is amazing. Like I have always thought I was an in shape, conditioned athlete, and I have never been so humbled, so humbled on a weekly basis in my life. Just when I like, okay, yeah, I feel better. Oh, he shuts me right back down. So it's amazing. So, I mean, he's got me feeling like I'm 21. You know what I mean? So my cardio is there, my conditioning, my strength. I'm stronger than I've ever been. I'm faster than I've ever been, and I'm faster. And I've had a ruptured Achilles tendon. So that being said, I would like to move towards Mr. Lima as quickly as possible. I mean, yes, I do call him on, but I mean in the most respectful way possible. He's a martial artist. He's a man guy, just like I am. And he understands that we're competing, and I don't think that I have to be disrespectful to him in order to get his attention. A lot of times people try and be disrespectful towards somebody just in order to get their attention or whatever the case is. I think he's what a true champion should look like. When I have my reign as champion for MMA, I'll model a lot of my reign after what he is. I mean, I honestly believe 100% that he is probably the best welterweight in the world. You know, he's a great all-around martial artist. He's had his ups, he's had his downs, his trials, but he's persevered through it all, and he's come back, and I've seen him do it time and time again. He's pretty much, I mean, if you look at everybody in the top roster of the welterweight division, he's pretty much run through everyone, you know, not once, but almost even twice. You know, I know there's a couple people that are in line before me, especially like deserving of a title shot, like Lorenz Larkin, definitely probably deserves a title shot. Mr. Gracie, who just won this weekend over John Finch. Congratulations on your retirement as well, Mr. Finch. I think he definitely deserves one as well because he's been putting in the work, you know what I mean? So, and I don't mean to skip the line or anything like that. But again, as you said, I'm not a young man. So I don't have a whole lot of time to go around this yellow brick road. You know, he's the wizard. I would like to see him. I think he's one of the best, and it's a great opportunity for me to test myself. I love to test myself against the best. If you look at my resume, I've always risen to the top, and I've challenged whomever is the best at what it is that they do. And for me, that's the only way to test myself. That's the only reason I still compete in this sport.
And right now, Lima's kind of got a task on his hands because he's moving up and he's challenging Mousasi. So there is a few fights going on that I just want to get your thoughts on, and that's the first one.
Oh my gosh, that is actually an amazing fight. I'm excited. I'm gonna actually after we get off later this week, I'm like, hey, can I fight on that card? If I can't fight on that card, like put me on, like let me do something where I can just be there live, you know, on that event. Now I would love to fight on a card with two great, I think will be legends in our sport. You know, it's Lima going up to 185, which was probably, he's a pretty big 170er, so that's probably more of his like natural weight class against Mousasi, who's a seasoned veteran who's fought some of the best of the best. I think it's going to be an amazing battle. It's kind of one of those 50-50 toss-ups of who's going to win it. If you want my opinion of who I believe is going to win it, I believe that Lima is going to be the champ of the 170 and the 185. Just he's really strong all around. His stand up is really strong. He's got great leg kicks. You know, I think just all around he can take shots pretty well. I think he'll be able to outmaneuver and maybe chop down the tree of what you call Mousasi. But if Gegard is able to use his you know, his wrestling and jiu-jitsu stuff like that to neutralize him, then I think you know, he would have that. That's where he'll have the opportunity to win. But I think Lima chop him down and slow him down and then just pick him apart. But I think that if you had to say I had to choose one, I think I would pick Lima because I think, like, again, I think he's one of the best all around combat athletes in the world.
Cool. And we got a couple more fights from our side of the pond. We've got Paul Daley against Derek Anderson, Bellator Milan. So obviously he's one of the top guys. He's still up there. What do you make of that fight?
You know, I know Anderson's kind of moving up a little bit as far as weight class, probably more to his like natural weight. Paul Daley is a powerhouse. I mean, why do you think they call the man Simtex? He's got knockout power in either hand. You know what I mean? He'll swing. He's got it in his knees. A great season. I think he said this is going to be maybe his last fight. I believe, possibly. But I see that this is one of those matches that can kind of go either way. I think Paul Daley can finish him early because he has that type of knockout and punching power. Being that is his last fight, I think he'll go into training camp with a whole different mindset of just going into dominate. That being said, if Derek can take him into the later rounds, I find that he kind of, his power, whenever you're a hard puncher, even like a Mike Tyson, that's the kind of power that he punches with. They tend to tire out if you take him a little bit longer. So if he can withstand the initial storm, then I think Anderson can, maybe pull out that decision on him or even tire him out and finish it. But if I were picking, I would say Daley was going to finish it in the first or second round.
And just lastly, we've got MVP. He's back in action against Ross Houston, who's just signed from Cage Warriors. It's MVP's kind of the opponent who always gets linked to you just because of the fighting styles. And is that something you're looking at down the line?
You're talking about as far as competing against Mike?
Yeah.
With this fight with Mike, what people don't understand is when he's going out to fight this gentleman, like the guy might be experienced in this way or that way, a champion here or a champion there. But I think the biggest thing that most of the time people don't understand is that it's different to fight somebody who controls space and distance. You know what I mean? So it's hard for them to land very clean shots and stuff like that. So I think it's hard to get a training partner that can mimic even remotely close. You would actually have to get myself or Mike to come and spar against you in order to mimic that type of movement. Maybe a Stephen Thompson even to come and mimic some of those type of techniques that you would see. So I think Mike finishes a strong finish early. People don't realize how heavy-handed Mike is at the same time. So not only does he make you miss, when he makes you pay a big price. That's why it's like his hands are. He's a pretty strong guy. Just from my experience of fighting him in the past. And when he's hit me, I'm like, oh, okay, that was a real one right there. So that being said, I don't have any sense of urgency to fight Mike. We come from the same background. Mike is coming up in the game. Mike was always like my little brother as far as, as far as an athlete. He kind of gets his style, his movement and stuff like that from me and from my style, even though he's been in the MMA and introduced to the MMA world before me. He came up underneath me in the sport karate world. Not that, he's underneath me by any means right now. The time I would really look to fight Mike is if Mike had the title, or if I had the title. I'm pretty sure Mike would look to fight me then. We've fought each other in the past, and we've tested our mettle against each other. Part of the success that I have and that Mike has is because we've battled with each other, I think, a numerous amount of times where we have a mutual respect and competition relationship with each other. You know what I mean? So I'm always hitting him. He hits me up. We're actually pretty good friends. But I know if it came down to the medal of who was the best of the best, both of us would actually honestly probably love to have an opportunity to compete against each other one more time on a grand stage. This is a total different sport, than what we've competed in the past. And honestly, I think it would be great to, for us to go at it for a title run. We came from the same upbringing, and we're fighting for the Bellator gold, so I think that would be the only time that I would be open and to taking a fight against him if it was for something that was on the line. Otherwise, I want to see him be as successful as possible. There's a lot of MMA guys out there for me to fight and for him to fight, as far as how I look at it. But I know a lot of the fans want to see that too. So dollars and cents, if the dollars and the cents are right, if it makes enough dollars, it makes enough sense too at the same time.
Cool. And his next fight, obviously, is Ross Houston. So do you know much about Ross, and do you expect him to come through that with, kind of flying colours?
Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of as far as Ross's footage, but I've been just kind of starting to check him out just a little bit. But I think Mike's ability to control space, it'll be totally different. It's totally different from anybody. And usually they're trying to figure it out on the fly as they're in the ring with a person. And it's like, oh my gosh, if you're trying to figure it out on the job, a lot of times what happens if you try and figure out something on the job, you make a lot of mistakes, so, and then you unfortunately have a fighter that's going to capitalize on those mistakes. So, it'll definitely be a good and interesting fight. But I think Mike will come out, dominant and victorious in it.
Okay. And for you now, when do you get back in training? Obviously, you were saying you want to fight ASAP. So when does it all start again for you?
For me next week, I think I caught an elbow on my foot or something when I threw a kick. So my foot's a little bit swollen. Like it's like you come out and you're like got these little. You're like, what is that? Like, how did that happen? You know what I mean? You got these little bruises and bumps, and you're like, I don't even remember that. Like, why does this hurt over here? So I think I kicked his elbow or kicked right underneath his elbow with one of my kicks. So just waiting for that to heal up. But I feel like I should be back. I'm walking around perfectly fine. I'm able to work out today, this morning and stuff like that, or I'll be working out tonight. I'm sorry. And then I should be back to it next week, back in the training lab. I would like to honestly fight in October. I would like to get on that Lima card with him and Musasi. You know what I mean? So that's an amazing card that I would love to be just a part of, because I think that will be one of those fights that'll go down in history of MMA as well.
Oh, good. Well, just good luck with the recovery and training, and can't wait to see your fight again. Hopefully it's on that card. Thanks for making some time.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. All right, man. You have a good one.